Let's look at this exhibit. It provides financial ratios for two different companies along with the industry average. Our objective is to interpret the impact of financial ratios on creditworthiness of a company as well as to compare between two companies based upon it financial ratios in the light of credit risk. Here the question is, which company is most likely to have a better credit rating based upon the given financial ratios. As you can see, it provides three leverage ratios, that is debt to capital, FFO to debt, and debt to EBITDA, then a profitability ratio and interest coverage ratio. So let's look at leverage ratios first. The first ratio is total debt by total capital. It represents a percentage of total capital funded through the debt. For example, in A, 10% of capital is funded through debt, whereas for the company B, 45% of the capital comes in form of debt. A lower debt capital ratio represents a lower credit risk. So here, company A has lower debt to capital ratio of 10%. So here, company A has lower credit risk compared to company B. One key point regarding debt to capital ratio is that when a company carries significant goodwill or other intangibles on its balance sheet, then calculation should adjust it from the capital. Otherwise, it will not provide the true picture of the portion of debt on the balance sheet. Moving to next leverage ratio, that is funds from operation to total debt. A higher funds from operation represents greater ability of the firm to pay its debt through funds from operations. Here, firm A has FFO by debt of 70%. It means funds from operations covers 70% of its debt, whereas for company B, only 20% of debt is covered through FFO. So, company A has greater ability and lower credit risk based upon the fund flow from operations. Funds flow from operations is very similar to cash flow from operations, but there is a slight difference. FFO excludes the working capital changes. The motive behind this is to manage the seasonality in the working capital demand, because over the period working capital fluctuations are expected to be even out, but it impacts the cash flow from operations and makes it more volatile, due to which in such situations FFO is a better indicator, and for analysis purpose most of the time FFO and cash flow from operations both are used simultaneously. Moving to next leverage ratio, that is debt to EBITDA. A higher debt with respect to EBITDA level represents a higher credit risk. Here, company B has debt to EBITDA of 4, which is higher than company as well as industry level. So company B has higher credit risk based upon the debt to EBITDA measure. One of the key point about debt to EBITDA is that the ratio becomes very volatile, especially for cyclical firms or firms with high operating leverage, because for such firms cash flow volatility is higher. Based upon the all three leverage ratios, firm B has higher credit risk compared to firm A. So credit rating of firm B would be lower than company A. The coverage ratio shows the ability of the firm to meet its interest payment. A higher coverage ratio is better, and it shows a greater ability of the firm to meet its interest payment. Here, firm A has a higher interest coverage ratio than firm B, based upon which credit risk for A is lower and its credit rating would be better. Coverage ratio at EBITDA level is somewhat liberal in its calculation approach, because it doesn't consider the depreciation expenses. Interest coverage calculation at EBIT level is a better and conservative approach. Based upon the industry structure, either of these two ratios are used as a measure of interest coverage. Now, summarizing the discussion and coming back to our question, that which company should have a better credit rating. Company B has higher financial leverage based upon all the three ratios, and a lower interest coverage ratio. This implies that company B has higher credit risk and should have a lower credit rating than company A.